Good morning! Welcome to Make It Monday. Hello, I'm Natasha McCarthy, Natasha of Natasha Makes. That's who I am. Thank you very much for joining us bright and early this morning. Slightly different show for you today. I'd love you to be involved, basically. So I came to plan the show and I got all my fabrics out. So I'm like, we're going to do a bit of this and a bit of that. And then I thought, well, no, why don't you help me choose what we do? Because time and time again, people say, oh, I've lost my sewing mojo, I don't know where to start. Or, you know, you want to buy a kit because then it's all kind of done for you. But we all have stash. So I thought what we'd do today is have a look at how we can scrap bust, how we can look through colours, how we can buy fabrics and just buy the fabrics and have confidence in ourselves that we've got the right tools to then make something fabulous. So it's how do we do that kind of thing? How do we see a fabric that we absolutely love and know that we can then go on and make something spot on. The other thing is we've got a few little catch-ups to do. Last week we launched Creative Grids, last Tuesday, and we also launched the brand new, oh Arthur, what are you doing? Sorry, the dog's come in and he's having a little mooch around. Just lie down, good boy. And we had a little mooch around the brand new Lewis and Irene fabrics, which were absolutely gorgeous, and they're the glow in the dark. But my torch to show you the glow in the darky bits hadn't arrived, and it has now. The other thing to mention is that we have got fresh new stock of the Seams hand cream and hand oil. This has been flying, absolutely flying. So for anybody that hasn't tried it before, it is a hand cream, which means that you can still sew afterwards. So it's absorbed almost instantly, absolutely beautiful. And then the hand oil, so for me, because of having the horses and the dogs and everything, I'm outdoors a lot and my hands get wrecked to the extent that this year they were bleeding, and even just touchscreen phones were painful. It had got that bad. And then Karen from Seams said, you need the oil, a few drops of that before you go to bed. Done. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful stuff. So we've got the oils, we've got the hand creams. They are all on the website, so do help. Oh, they haven't been opened yet. Do help yourself to those. They are all up there. And I know a lot of Karen came in the other day and we did a little pre-recorded video. So we've got that to go up on the website at some point as well, just to give you the whole history of the company, because Karen's ethos, who is the creator of Seams, is very much in line with mine, to source from the UK where you can, to bring the best quality at the best prices, and all natural products in there, and ethically sourced as well. So it fits really nicely with what we stand for here. So that was really lovely. Right, let's have a look then at these fabrics. The other thing to mention is, I know some of you were complaining about the banner, saying that you couldn't see stuff. So you have to let me know. We've had a play, Josh and I. Is this better for you? So down there is the details for where you can buy online and the shop and everything else. And also on there, there'll be all the catch-up videos as well. So if you've missed something or something's arrived and you want to make it, then all of your catch-up stuff is on that website as well, along with all of the fabrics and things that we're going to look at today. So yeah, take a good look around. We're adding to it each week. When I first started, I was offered a lot of product and I turned it down and just, there's too much. Let's just build it up bit by bit, which is really working for us. So you're coming on the journey with us, which is lovely. Now let's have a look at these fabrics. So let's go close to here. Let's switch that across and show you this. So do you remember this one was, whee! So you can just start to see. So all of these white bits will glow in the dark. There you go. You can start to get an idea of which bits. And these are all proper astrological thingamajiggies. Oh, I've got all the terms today. Sorry, I have to excuse me. I was at Crufts yesterday with Maud, and the lighting in there really set off a headache. So not feeling my most fabulous best today. So there you go. That starts to give you an idea of which bits glow in the dark for that one. And then if I swap it across for this one, Freddie was in this morning playing with these, going, oh! And he absolutely loved his cushion. So let me just show you these. So all of these, I don't know if you can see, all of these white bits around there, all of these rings, they will all glow in the dark. And whee, they glow in the dark. All of that glows in the dark. So you'll get to see, there you go, the planets and everything. They're all of the white bits around here. They all glow in the dark, which is fab on that one. And then, oh, this is one of my favourite ones for the glow in the dark bit. Because look at the Earth. Yay! And all your stars glow in the dark. And your shooting stars glow in the dark. And yeah, and your rockets as well. They're all glowing in the dark. And whatever this swirly business is up there. There we go. So that's what's glowing in the dark there. And then this one was quite clever because not all of it glows in the dark. So, for example, this, you lose the grey stalky bit and it just becomes at night. It just becomes a flying saucer, which I thought was pretty cool. And then you've got, oh yeah, you can see your stars down there. They're all glowing. They're all glowing. Yep, that bit's glowing. Again, but as a spaceship. There you go. There's your planet up there. And then the last one to show you was this one. And I think we can all see straight off there what's glowing in the dark there. Your shooting stars there. Not all of them. There we go. So that's that fabric. If you wanted to go for those, then they are on the website. And I've done them as a fat quarter bundle with the orange in there as well, because then you can make lap quilts, or if you buy 2 lots, then you've got enough for a bigger quilt. You can make cushions. It's a really versatile amount to have. So let's put those out of the way. Down there. And then let's have a look at what we're going to work on today. So last Tuesday we launched Stripology, and as you know, there's a lot of you out there, because I love Stripology, who are Natasha strippers, and I welcome all of you strippers, because it's such a great way to cut your fabric safely and effectively. And so on Tuesday we looked at how to use the Stripology ruler, which we will take another look at today. But I wanted to then start to introduce a new ruler for you today, which is this one here. Now, I don't know if you can see, let's swizzle this around so that you can start to see. This is your 4.5-inch non-slip 90-degree double strip ruler, and these are the blocks we're going to make with it today. Okay, so keeping it strip based, we're going to have a look at how we do these. So we need to choose fabric, right? It also occurred to me, excuse me, that a lot of you have got scrap bags, things like that, and this is a great way if you've got the motor scrap bags where they already come in strips. And basically the scrap bags with the motor scrap bags and the Free Spirit ones, they are the end of the bolt, so they'll be slightly varying widths and what have you, but if you can cut them back to 2.5 inches, have a rummage through, see which ones are wider, which ones are narrower, cut them back to 2.5 inches, and then they're perfect to use for all of these kind of projects. Because I know this is the conversation, isn't it? Got these scrap bags, great, now what do we do with them? Or if you've got some of our other scrap bags, which is just bits of fabric, some big, some small, designer, plains, a real good old mishmash to shove in your stash and to boost it. Well, what do we do with it? Well, cut it into strips and then start to work out from there. And it's amazing how far they go and how much you can get from it. So we need to choose some fabrics. So let's just have a quick look on Facebook and see if I can actually find you. Oh, by the way, thank you very much for all of you that watched. So we need to turn that down so I can actually hear myself. That's not good. Where's my voice gone today? Thank you so much for everyone that tuned in to Hochanda on Friday, because we had Natasha Makes on Hochanda, which was lovely, really exciting stuff. And a note on that before we get going here is, Obviously we had the pouches, and a lot of you have been buying the pouches, and you've been buying the double duck pouch, which gives you one that size in the duck, and then this is the other size one. But if you wanted to make it longer, you have enough fabric to make one that size. All you do is just don't cut it quite so short, just do a longer strip. So that was the double duck kit. So my question to you was, would you be interested in any of these colours? So this is your flower bees, and they're rather gorgeous. Let me show you the fabrics of this, because they are just so sweet. So you've got your flowers and your bees, hence why it's called flower bees. And this is from the Happy Campers range from Tilda. And so you've got a little pencil case size, and then a wash bag size or makeup bag size, or whatever size you want to do it at. Also later on today, so basically keep an eye on the website, because as and when I start to cut up the kits, things will go on the website. So the other double pouch kit that will be going on is ducks again, and I think these are perfect for Easter, because I think this fabric is fabulous. And that is, look at these ducks. Well, you know, I like ducks. Ducks are my favourite, followed by peacocks. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? And because I'm a bit of a stickler, and this was what I always wanted to do and wasn't able to do elsewhere, was to bring you actual Tilda plains. Because then I know that I've got the colour match, and I know that I'm also matching quality with quality. And that's really important to me. You know, it's very easy to go, oh, well, we'll just go with something a bit cheaper. But when you actually start to look at the plain fabrics, I have to say, it is so soft. I'm going to show you the selvage, which I know sounds a bit weird, but just look at this. The selvage here is so fine and so soft. And that is why these fabrics are so beautiful. That is why these can be used for toy making, for general crafting, craft sewing, but also they can be used for toy making, dressmaking, all sorts of different things. And that's why it's such a versatile fabric, because of the quality of it. So the duck kits in blue, in pink, well, it's actually peach, will go up later with that lovely aqua sky blue and a couple of zips in there as well. So today I wanted then to look at, and also to get your feedback on, what fabrics you might be interested in, how you want them kitted, or if you just want them by the ½ meter. So, and then we'll get playing with the rulers. So you might have various different colours of the similar, of a fabric, one fabric, 4 different colourways like these. And I'm going to pop these down here for you. There you go. Oh, no, not that one. That one. There we go. So this is the Tilda Old Rose range, and basically this was one of the early Tilda designs, and she just kept being asked for it to come back. So eventually she went, fine, yeah, we'll do it. So this is the Old Mary Rose, and we've got it in teal, we've got it in, I think that one's lilac mist. We've got it in your pink, and we've got it in the blue. So it's then a matter of which colours do we put with it? Do you want to put a plain with it? Do you want to, you know, how do you want to play with it? Just going to find another colour to throw in. I've got all sorts of beautiful colours. So if you wanted to do it with a blue for that one, and work those two. I've also got this lovely dove white. It's not a cream, it's not an ivory, it's just beautiful. It's such a soft colour. And that is going to work gorgeously with both the blue and the pink. But then if you wanted to also come in with that blue, nah, I'm not liking that so much. Let's put that one to the side for a minute. And then I've got so many fabrics. So decide which one you'd fancy. Oh, Audra can't stay. She's got a meeting. Have a nice day, Audra. Oh, and Martina says the new banner is great. Good. Well, we do listen. Alistair, good morning to you, my darling. Lovely to have you watching. Hello, Jennifer. Hello. Oh, Marty's actually in work. She's on a quick break. Can only watch for a few minutes. That's okay. It's nice to have you. So good morning to everybody. And yeah, there we go. Right. So do we want to do a colour like that with a plain? Do we want to go for a more solid colour? And we're going to cut into strips and have a go at then creating something from scratch with a ruler. So let's have a go at that today and see what we fancy. So if you're on Facebook at the moment, I've got it open and I can see, let's start with this. Do we want blue or pink? Blue or pink? Let's start with that. Blue or pink? Who fancies blue? Who fancies pink? First person to comment, we'll go with that. No one. Have I got it the right way? Which way? No one. No one's saying anything. Or maybe it's my signal. Well, let's go with blue. Let's have a go with the blue, shall we? And we'll go with blue and we'll go with the dove white, which I think is really beautiful. And then we'll have a look at some of these later and see what else we've got. So let's start off by taking a strip of this off. And now you see all the marks on my desk. This is pink. Oh, hang on. Oh, blue. Oh, the first one was blue. Denise says, morning Tash, lovely materials in the sugar almond colours. They are beautiful, aren't they? And Heather came up with blue first. Then Carol said pink. Oh, pink, pink, blue. It's level pegging. It's level pegging. Oh no, another one for blue. I think we're going blue, everybody. I think that's decision made. Right, okay. So the next question for you would be, do you want this in fat quarters? Do you want it by the ½ metre? How do you fancy having it? Whoops. Helps if I actually... So that's a ½ metre, and we're going to play with that today, but it's going to be plenty. In fact, we could probably go fat quarter, but let's treat ourselves, shall we? Why not? Oh, I'm glad that you like the new banner. We do listen. Oh, there are lots for blue. Lots coming in for blue. Oh, and a little pink there from Eileen. Right, let's go blue. Here we go. So yeah, just leave a comment as to whether or not you want fat quarters, whether you want them bundled, individual, ½ meters, and then we can start. This is your channel. And then there's no point in me having great ideas thinking, well, do it this way, if it's not going to work for you, because you are what make the channel. So let's have a look. When this comes to you, say you get it by the ½ metre and it'll come off the bolt like that. This is the perfect time to start looking at using your Stripology ruler. So if you've got that, or there's another way. Here we've got, this is, I'll show you both ways. I'll do one with one and one with the other. And I will switch this across to here. So this is your double strip 90-degree ruler, and helps if I get a rotary cutter, doesn't it? What you'll start to do, this is where actually the Stripology is fab, because you would have already just chop off the edge. I can line up, I've got various 90-degree marks, and I'm just going to take off that rough edge because that was just off the bolt there. So let's get rid of that bit. On the floor it goes. I'd like to say somebody else will hoover it up, but they're not going to, are they? It will just be me. This ruler that we're using today is going to use 2.5-inch strips. So fabulous, absolutely fab. If you already have 2.5-inch strips from pre-cuts or anything like that, then you are all good to go. Oh, ½ metre, ½ meters. Yeah. Bundles, so you don't have to think about matching. Absolutely. Okay, so let's do a couple of strips here. So with the Stripology ruler, I know that I've lined up on my 0. My 2.5-inch has got that square, so I'm going with that square, and then 2.5-inch again there, and then hopefully that will, yeah. Oh, I just missed that. I should have just, what did I do with my scissors? Oh, here they are. There we go, just a snip. So we'll take a couple of those, put that to one side. ½ metre is a lot of fabric, isn't it? And then, so you can either cut your strips with your ruler here. It's got them on here, which was what I was showing you, wasn't it? And then got distracted in the way that I do. So you can swing that around there. and then on here. So if you don't have a Stripology ruler, or this is the first ruler that you're ever buying, then this is your 2.5 inch marker on there. So it's a ruler in 2 halves. You can cut your strips with it, and then this half does the other bit. Tim says creative grids are his number one. They're fab, aren't they? Absolutely fab. So if you don't have the Stripology, you can still easily cut with this ruler your 2.5 inch strips, and that's just it. So it's not insisting that you have anything fancy schmancy. And again, you've got all of your built-in non-slip grips. All of these opaque bits are your non-slip grips in here, which just holds this onto the fabric. And that's what I absolutely love about this. I'm going to read through all your meters later. Hang on, half meters, please, but would also love it if you could get the Tilda Classic Basics. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, I can do that. I can do that. Right. Okay, so let's put those fabrics. I love this. It's just beautiful, isn't it? So what you would then do is sew. Do you know what? I probably could just have done this with half meters, with fat quarters, couldn't I? Else there's going to be a lot of sewing. Should we just line those up like that? And then just chop that middle bit there. So we are going to right sides together, and of course because I've got a plain there, that's absolutely fine. I'm all good. I will just give it a very quick press because it's just comes straight off the bolt, and I will actually probably press one directly onto the other. Have you all now got your pressing mat from House of Alistair? They are just one of the best things ever. I'm so thrilled with mine, and I'm really appreciating all of your comments about how fabulous you think they are, which is great, because it's one thing. When we bought these, were brand new to the market. We were the first place to have it, and it's all very well me saying that something's great, but it's really lovely when you guys all think it too. So I have got a grey cotton in my machine so that it all shows up. Obviously you would probably do one to blend, and you want to do 1/4 inch seam along here. So I've got my 1/4 inch foot on, and then, oh, hello machine. Obviously what would have been really sensible would have been to have checked the machine, because it's been in the car, and here, there and everywhere. This is my trusty machine. There we go, that's a bit happier. So it goes around, this machine. This is the one that goes around. So this one is absolutely perfect for your workshops and things like that, whilst being heavy duty enough. The comments that we always get about the DX7, which is what this one is how quiet it is. And it really is. And that's because it's not bouncing up and down or doing anything like that. It's just smooth, and the fabric feeds through. I'm not having to eke it or tweak it or push it through or pull it through. Every now and then I might just readjust, but otherwise I'm just going to let it do what it does. And then back to the mat for some pressing. I was always taught, set your seams, and then whatever one is on top, that's the side that it's going to. So you'd normally go to the dark side, but we don't. It's quite light fabric, so we don't really have a dark side. Use the nose of your iron to just knock it back. And then what I love about the pressing mat is that it just holds that fabric there. So that bottom fabric isn't slipping, isn't moving. What temperature am I on with this? There we go. And then I would do the same either with the same colour or a different colourway. Let's do that. So let's use the other half. And then we'll see where we're at. Needs a good old press, doesn't it, this morning? Did you guys all have a good weekend, by the way? We went to Crufts. It was Maud's first attempt at Crufts, bless her. She was not on the best of form because she's due to come into season, bless her, but she did all right. She did all right. So we're qualified for next year, which is very exciting. Right, let's switch across. And whee! I don't know why, but if I press my fabrics one on top of the other, they just seem to stay put. I don't know why it is, but they just seem to stay put, and it does make sewing them so much easier. It is one of those things that when I first started, even the thought of just sewing in a straight line was a bit daunting. It's amazing how things move on, isn't it? So what I used to do is I used to cut up all my scraps, and then I used to just sew them together, and just make weird and wonderful scrappy quilts in a kind of a whatchamacallit, oh gosh, what's I've completely forgotten the name of it. Like I said, I'm not quite with it. Right, okay, so what we're going to do is put one on top of the other, like so. They will actually nest, but those seams are going to be one on top of the other. So we're going to start to cut through various layers together. Let's just move the mat out of the way. Okay, so you're layering up these fabrics one on top of the other. We know that we've cut them right. Hopefully I've sewn them right. Layering them up like that. I've got to put this on the skewiff for cutting. All right. Now, I don't know if you can see on here. And what I've got is various different lines on here. So this is my line down here. Let me show you. When I'm lining them up, what I'm lining up is this line along here is going to be the bottom of my fabrics, okay? And then this line here, this dotted line, is where that seam is. So there's lots of different ways that you can use this ruler, but that is where the seam that I've just sewn is going to be. Okay, so I'm going to line that up. So that's going to line up along the base, that's going to line up along the seam, and then I'm going to cut, okay? And here we go. So I'm going to just avoid the selvage on the edge there. Line that up there. But most importantly, I want to line up that dotted line along the seam, because then I know that my seams will match. And I cut up and I cut down. And you'll see my ruler goes into that circular hole there. My rotary cutter goes into there, and that just allows for enough space to cut, which is fab. Fabric's moved a little bit there. There we go. Okay. So now what we've got are these. Oh. Guess who should have put a sharp blade in this morning, hey? And what you can start to do is put them together like that and like that, and they are all cut perfectly for you. I'm going to pop that one in there, and you've got the little edges cut off, and so instantly you've got a block, and you just repeat and repeat and repeat, and you've got lots that you've cut off in one go. So what you'll do is you'll put those two together like that, and you will have those seams there that you can just interlace. Let me show you this on here. So you've got one seam going one way, one going the other, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to nest those two. You see, just going to nest those together there like that. Now you've cut on the bias. Where are my pins? So you might want to just pin there. Hang on, let's take it back to the table. So let's nest those seams. And I will just pin. I'm not normally a pinner, but as soon as you cut along there, you have cut on that bias. So we'll just pin and pin. And then I'm going to start with this end. I'm going to start to sew from there because it's going to be easier than sewing from that, because that is more likely to get caught in the machine. So I'm going to start from this end here and I'm just going to sew down that side. Let's go. And I've actually pinned in such a way, or not that one, that it I could sew over that first one because it wasn't actually touching. There we go. And because the machine that I'm using, I don't have to fiddle about with the fabrics. So they're going through, which alleviates too much stretch really. So let's do the same with this. And let's nest those seams. There, and pin them. So this is one of the blocks that you can do. I'm going to spin that around. One of the blocks that you can do with this ruler. Of course, I've now pinned it the wrong side. There we go. And then what we'll do is we'll just press those. Here we go. And what we've got then is a nice line there. Now then, it's going to be that way, isn't it? So if I've got that seam going that way, if I want them to nest, I'm going to want this one to come this way. So we'll just do that and then knock that seam that way. And then what I can do is I've then got my seams going in opposite directions, so then put those two together like that, along there, up like that. And then I will just pin there and pin those bits there. Ooh, there we go, that bit there. And then these edge bits here. Now, what's going on here? Why is that a bit wobbly? So I think here I've just, you see it's just ever so slightly out, but it's nesting really nicely there. So I'm just going to pin that in there, and that's just me. That's my user error. There we go. So I'm just going to sew now, using this as the guide, along there. This is all lining up nicely along there. And we've got those seams nesting there. Fingers crossed. Is that them there? Sorry, I'm just double checking. Right, let's go. Let's go to the machine. Here we go. Now, because we don't have an option but to go from the from the very top there, so it's going to be a little bit trial and error to start off with. There we go. Right, let's just go. And I'm just checking that these have stayed in. There's always some give, because we've cut on the bias, there is some give. So if you haven't quite lined it up, Right, and what I should have done when I had the 2 layers of fabric is to have made sure that they were absolutely lined up perfectly. I didn't quite do that. Now once I'm on that seam and I can stop there and I can realign, make sure that everything is then lined up. And let's see what this is looking like, shall we? Let's see. Right. Yeah, there we go. We have, there we go, perfect points. Fabulous. Lovely. Now there is a bit of a lump in the middle because you've got lots of things going in lots of different directions. It's going to help if I switch the, there we go. So we've done that, and that is absolutely perfect. You can see all those points, absolutely perfect. And that's down to the machine, not me. You can press these seams open if you want, because this is always the question: is which way do we press? Which way do we press? Press them open if you want. It will reduce your bulk. Or you can snip into that middle bit and get them going off in different directions, should you wish. But if you want to press them open along there like that, then you can. And that has already, just in pressing that one seam that I've just sewn, just in pressing that open. And so that's one block. Now lots of you ask what's the difference between the different Stripology rulers, because there are 2. And if I just find you that. So when you've done your blocks, and maybe you've done a few, and you're going to sew them all together, because you've worked with a bias there, you might want to cut your block back. And this is where the other, oh, by the way, this is coming up tomorrow because it's block of the month with Jane Alcock, and she's also designed us a quilt with beautiful Moda fabrics, so don't miss that. And I've now moved everything in front of here, so I can't actually get to my my grids. Here we go. Is that the right one? Yeah, so people say, what is the difference between the 2 Stripology rulers? Now you've seen me use one, and then this is the Stripology squared, this one here, and you can see instantly all of these different white squares on there. And this is great for trimming your blocks back. So if you've done blocks and you're about to sew them all together, then you might just want to trim them back. And that's where this absolutely comes into its own. So what we've got here is, and let's just see where we're at. You've got your dotted line that goes through that half square triangle effectively there, and then we need to find out actually what size is this. What do we want to trim it back to? And so if you put that in the middle there and line up your X's, so your seam goes across there and across there, then you can see where you might want to trim it back to. So I might want to trim this back to say this one here, which will give me a, which one? That one there and that one there. Is that one and that one. You can move this along. You can, so you line it all up and then you decide which ones you want to go with. If you are working with half inches, then you've got different half-inch increments to line up on. You've also got your 1/4 of an inch seam allowance to line up on, and then basically line it up to wherever you want, and then cut down, spin it around, realign it. Whoops. It's static. It's going to cling, isn't it? Realign it there. And I don't know if you can just see, you've got, hang on, I'm going to move this across to here so that you can see it. Where I've aligned it, you've got the X coming through here, and I'm lining that up on my seam so that you then, when you trim back, you know that you're trimming back with your seams absolutely perfect. And it's those little pieces of attention to detail that you want when you're using this. So if you're going for this one, then you still have your 2.5 inch increments down there. So to give you your strips, and you still have your stars, which cut you every 1.5 inches, and you still have your 1/2 inch increments, and you still have across here this line here, which is 1/4 inch, which means that you can move it across. And what you have within this are all of your instructions for, and let me just open it up. If you want to trim back, you've got charts for cutting at 1/4 inch increments, so you'll just cut at those different measurements if you want 1/4 inch increments as well. Never throw these away because they are incredibly useful, the instructions. So if you're cutting blocks back, this one is great because it's got all of the markers on there. And then for this one, because I cut strips, that's why I went for the big one. And actually I do find that 10-inch strip, that 10-inch square there really, really handy. I use that an awful lot. So that's kind of the difference between the two of them. And we've done one of the blocks that this ruler, the 90-degree double strip ruler, can do. And if I want to have a quick look at which other ones it does, then all I would do, they've got a sort of a at a glance type thing. So we've just done that one. We can also have a look at doing that one and that one. Easy peasy. Let's have a look. Okay, so we're going to choose some different fabrics. Oh, so what I would probably do with this is do 4 of them, piece them together, and then you've got yourself instantly a cushion or something like that. Might pop a 2.5 inch sash around it, done. And then, so I just sashed to whatever size cushion pad I've got available. It's a bit of a cheat, isn't it? But that's what I would do. And then you've got those beautiful fabrics coming through and really easy to use. So that's one colourway. Let's have a look at a different colourway for you. Let's have a look at... Oh, I know what I haven't shown you yet. And that's this. How pretty is this? I do love this. And again, this is from the Old Rose collection from Tilda. And this is your Old Rose in, I want to say, Lydia Lavender. So let's chop a bit of this up, shall we? And again, this is going to work beautifully with that dove white because it's that soft, soft white. And all I'm going to do, fold it in half. And this time I'll just use my Stripology just to cut. And because this has been freshly folded, I will just take off that edge so I know I'm working with a flush edge. 2.5 inch. Let's go 2.5 inch again. There. And what I would say is keep your ruler, your cutter up straight. I know some people say, oh, I struggle to get it in the teardrop. Just keep it absolutely straight and it will just slot in. And then off you go. And that's going to act as a guide all the way through for you. Okay, so we've got those. And again, see, nice, hardly any wastage. And we will sew the strips together as we did before. And then let's go back to the sewing machine. But what a beautiful array. I do love these soft, soft colours that we've got coming in from Tilda with the with this range. And I know Tilda isn't to all of your tastes, so this could be any of your scraps that you've got, and that's okay. And I'm going to be bringing you, well, we've brought you the glow in the dark, haven't we? And then next week we're going to be bringing you all sorts of gorgeous things. Oh, and did I tell you that Jo Carter has made us an exclusive Easter Bunny pencil case that she's going to be bringing on the show? Did I tell you that? I'm not sure if I meant to tell you that yet. I don't know if I'm going to get told off by marketing. Like, that was a surprise. We had an ad campaign for that. Oh, sorry. So that's going to be lovely. We've got lots of beautiful things coming up. But she's done that especially for us. And I will just... Oh, my mic's rubbing on something. Oh, it's rubbing on my jumper. There you go. It's one of those things, when you get a new jumper, I bought this the other day, you never quite know how it's going to react with a mic. I know that with some of my jumpers, I have to put a little piece of card underneath just to keep the mic off. There we go. Is that better? It's Claire. She's saying, be careful, Natasha, be careful, be careful. I'm being careful, being careful. That's the handy thing about Messenger, isn't it? You can all tell me in the messages what's going on. Okay, so down here, 1/4 of an inch. For anybody that's starting off, I found I started off with a 1/4 of an inch foot that had a guide on the edge, so I couldn't go outside of it. Now this machine sews straight, so I don't need it anymore, but that was always my safety net. For anybody that's ever worried. Right, let's get that mat back out, shall we? What have I done with it? Oh, there it is. And again, which one are we going to do? So if you want to go to the dark side, then set your seam with your dark side on the top. I say dark, the purpley side. Well, the other's white, isn't it, basically? And then flip across. And I will keep repeating that because it took me ages to get my head around it. I could never remember. And I'd just be sitting at my ironing board, flipping stuff around, going, do I want that way? Do I want that way? Yeah. So that's that one. Let's do the other one. Now the Creative Grids instructions are fabulous, and they are on the black pieces of paper that come with your Creative Grids. So they're always handy to keep. I either use a bulldog clip or a quilter's clip and just keep them on there. There we go. So that I don't lose them, because I'm dreadful for losing stuff. Really awful for losing stuff. Right. That's that. And I'm going to look at my instructions. Is it this one? Yeah, here we go. So it is saying for me to sew 2 sets of 2.5 strips together. Tick, yes. Place both sets of strips right sides together, matching seams and reversing fabrics. Gosh, here we go. That way, that way, that way. Now they've recommended some spray starch as well, because you're cutting on the bias, and that would be really sensible. Really, really sensible. So hopefully that has pretty much matched those seams there. And then we're going to get our ruler. And this is the fab thing. Now, do you remember I said earlier that it had a little hole, a little hole through there, like that. Let me see, there you go. Here, this little hole here. And so when I come down with my rotary cutter, it allows the blade to come in just enough that it cuts it perfectly, and just enough so that it cuts it perfectly coming up there. So there's no waste. That's the genius behind these things. Absolutely love it. So let's cut these, shall we? So again, I'm going to use that dotted line as my seam. For my seam, I'm going to make sure these are all the things that, you know, I merrily do every day, and then it come on air and I forget that actually that's a little bit shorter. So I need to make sure that when I start to cut, I am actually on that. So yeah, we're all good. And off we go. Making sure that I'm on those seam lines. And off we go. So if you've got strips, if you've got fabrics, you can cut them into strips. If you are not sure what to do with your strips, then have a play Get something like a ruler like this, and then you've always got something that you can do with your fabrics, and that's the beauty of it. Right, so what they're now recommending, and that's how easy this block is going to be, is just doing like that. And then as soon as I do that, but you see, actually we're already ready to actually sew them. So I just put that there to show you, but actually I shouldn't have moved them. I should just take them to the machine. So that's what we're going to do. Let's just take these straight to the machine. And if you've spray starched, then what you've got is very little worry about any kind of stretch on that bias. Oh, it's just where I've moved it. There we go. Let's move that back across to there. And next one. So you can just chain piece these. And actually, if your machine is one that does like to eat your fabric, then chain piecing is really useful, because the tension of the thread is already taken up, so it doesn't tend to bird's nest behind. You know, when you sometimes you start sewing and it just bird's nests behind and gets caught in that little bit. I'm just getting those right on there. And the beauty of this machine, oh, here we go. Let me actually show you that. The beauty of this machine is, of course, it lifts the foot every time, just because I've programmed it in that way, to lift the foot, which means that I can then feed the next one underneath really easily. And my fingers are not pulling or pushing, they're just making sure that that fabric stays one on top of the other, and that's it done. And then whee, snip, snip. Let's get that pressing mat out, shall we? And see what we've got. Right, here we go. Let's see. Right. So, first thing we do, I'm spinning them all around so that my dark side is up, because then when I press, I'm going to press to the dark side. There you go. How gorgeous are these? So this is just another block that you can do, again with that same ruler. And then you can start to do larger blocks. So I would just need to do another one. I should have done that ½ meter, shouldn't I? And if I had another one, then you've then got the next size up, the next round up. So you can do it that way, or you can do it so that you've then got your stripes if you want to do it that way, and then you could do a border like that, a striped border along like that. So it starts to be really versatile. Or if you wanted to, then you could add another sashing around there. You could do that. And if you added another layer around there in whatever colour, then you can start, and you could start to build up a sampler block using all your gorgeous fabrics. But I really like that. Here we go. I'm going to spin that there. Like that. And how pretty is that? Just from 2.5 inch strips and using this ruler. And then again, you would fold across like that, line up those nested seams, and just sew. And the thing with creative grids, I don't know if you can see on the black there, that's not a pointy point. it's got the dog ears kind of taken off for you. So I'm going to show you on a better one. Here we go. So normally on a square you would expect that to go all the way to the tip, but it's not. And so that gives you a 1/4 of an inch. That's where you're going to start sewing when you sew down that line. Everything's thought through because they are quilters making for quilters, which is the beauty of it. So we can do that. And then what was the other thing that it said we could do with this? Ba, 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 ba. We've done the stripes, we've done that one. Yeah. So let's have a look on here. So we've just started to put that together. Made up of those. But you can also use those to chevron as well. And we made one of those as well. So again, all of these things become really, really easy when you've got the right tools for the job. And then the other thing is to just play with your fabrics. So let's have a look at some more fabrics, shall we? If you can put in the comments whether you want bundles, half meters, or if there's colourways that you particularly want together, then we can load those up onto the website for you. I'm going to turn off the iron so that I don't hurt myself. Good morning, lovely lady, says Julie. Good morning. Let's have some messages, shall we? You've been good enough to tune in. So hello to you. Claire says there's another way to avoid chain piecing tips of triangles. Sew your strips into a tube. Oh, yeah. No, you can do that. But I was using the Creator Grid, so that's different. Martina says there are 3 Stripology rulers if you include the mini. Yes. So there's the big one. And when people say which one to go for, I went for the big one. I know it's slightly more expensive, but I thought I'm going to get the most use out of this because I just like to cut strips and do log cabin. That's the word that I couldn't remember. Log cabin quilts all over the place. Emily's got loads in her bedroom. If you are cutting back your blocks, and I will do a proper full demo on using this Stripology alone and for cutting back blocks. I just haven't sort of thought about doing that one today. So that one, if you're cutting back blocks and things like that, you can still cut your strips, absolutely, but just not quite as many in one go because it's not quite as long. So this one is for squaring off your blocks, cutting them back. And then there is the mini Stripology, which is loitering in my cupboards. Here we go. This is your... they've all got them, haven't they? This is your mini one. Now, let me show you this on here. Because what you've got with the mini, you've still got your strips every ½ inch. You've got that tear dot to put your rotary cutter in. And then you've got a little star, because we're working with smaller increments. This is the mini. You've got your star for every 1.5 inches when you're cutting those small blocks. And then a lot of quilts will ask you to start off with like a 2-inch square, so you can cut back your 2-inch square. You can cut back. Now, if we look over this way, when you spin it around, then you've got your 1.5 inch increments going from 0 out, which is really handy. And then round here you've got your 1/4 inch, so then you've got 1/4 inch, 3/4 inch, 1 1/4 inch. So then you've got whole inches, 1/4 inches, ½ inches, 3/4 inches covered. But if you need something that is cut to 1/8 inch, then can you see here it's got 1/8 written there, so you'd line the end of your fabric up to there, and that adds 1/8 onto each of these increments there. Or if you want 3/8 added on, then you just line your fabric up onto that one. Again, you've got your 45-degree lines there, so if you're lining up through the center here, then you can line up all of those markers. It's really handy. Again, this is another one that is a whole show in itself. I probably shouldn't have tried to rush that one, but I just want you to get a flavour of them. Great instructions always. We will look at the smaller ones and the square at another time, but if you get it and you know have a go. The instructions are fab. Let's pop that one there, that one there, that one there. Right, fabrics, that's what we were doing, wasn't it? So we have looked at the Mary in the blue and the pink, and we've looked at it in the dove, haven't we? So do you remember that was your Mary in the blue, that one. And then we looked at the pink. Now it could be that you might want those tones bundled together. Now if you wanted this style in all sorts of colours, I also have it in teal and lilac, which are really beautiful. But what I also have is the teal, the plain teal. So if you wanted, and this is what's been really lovely, is when I've been making the pouches, I've had this on the outside and then the plain on the inside. And it hasn't been a case of trying to find a fabric that's nearly the same colour. No, which is what we used to have to do. Because this is tilde plain fabric, it is the same colour. So there's none of that, you're using the same tones. Which is really beautiful. Now, if you want to pick out that teal, then maybe you want to work the teal through with bringing some pink and bringing the duck. I've got to show you the duck close up again. Just look at the duck. Gorgeous, gorgeous. So that's why I've done the pouches with that lining, because I just think it's really beautiful. And then let me also show you. Oh, this is great. This is the fabric that we were just sewing with, which works so beautifully with the dove. But again, if you wanted to use it with the teal, then you can. Let me go on a close-up. Bing! I just spend hours playing with different coloured fabrics. So you've got that option, or if you wanted to bring in that dove white, then it's exactly that cream. Can you see? It's exactly that soft off-white. It's like a chalky white. It's really beautiful. And so you can mix up those as well, which is really beautiful. Now, let's see what else. In a right old part. Right, let's organise this a little bit. So this is your Lydia. So if you wanted the Lydia, let me know. That's Lydia Lavender. I've got Lydia Blue too. There's the ducks, and these are the Old Mary. And once I know how you want them, if it's by half meters or fat quarter bundles or whatever, then we'll spend the afternoon loading these up for you. So take a look again later. Now, other fabrics to play with. This is, I don't have a lot of this left, I can always order more. This is your Flower Bees. This is from the Happy Campers range. Again, it's going to work through with that teal, or if you wanted to go with that dove white, works a treat, excuse me. Or if you wanted to match it through, again with the teal, then you've got that colourway to go with. But also working with that teal, how about that? Or this. So really, really versatile. And then, oh my goodness, making a bit of a mess here. Then I discovered the greys and the purples, and then I got really excited about that. So I don't know if you can see, I have to take this out of the packet. I've got a grey, and then I've got some different purples. So this one is your Lilac Mist, and this is your Thistle, which I always thought, is that just a misspelling of thistle? Not sure. Oh no, where are my scissors? Hang on, they're over here. Bear with. Yeah, I did. I had a moment where I thought, would anybody notice if I used my fabric scissors? Yes, Everyone would have noticed, right? Everyone. Okay. And if you want, what I can do is I can put the pouch instructions up just by themselves. So then you could always mix and match fabrics. It's up to you. Let me know how you want. What have we got? Any more? Oh, hi, Kath. Kath's watching. Kath has got the donkey and the panda almost ready to go for you, which we're very excited about. I think I'm allowed to say that. Oh, Elizabeth's watching. Good morning, Elizabeth. Oh, the panda is in print and will be available soon. Fabulous. Well done. And Cheryl's got to go. Right. I had another lilac. What have I done with that? Oh, I left it over there. Righty-ho. So you could work. If you wanted to have one pattern and two plains, then how about that? Let me show you this close to. So you've got the purple there, and then you've got the teal there, or you could bring that dove white in and go for that sort of plain. I have also got with this, and if you're ever unsure as to what colours go, have a look at the selvage. So on the selvage you'll get all of those different colours along there, so you might then try and match it up and go, right, have I got those colours in there? Is that going to sit nicely? Then yes, you could use that. And actually I quite like that that's a lighter shade, but if I wanted to match the shade completely, then I would probably go for that. How beautiful is that? So all these different options, and this is where bundling can be easier because it's difficult on a screen to colour match, and I totally get that. The greys work beautifully with the purples, and with the yellows as well. So again, that's another option. Let's show you that there. With that soft grey. And actually what I quite like as well, excuse me for reaching, grey and yellow together. I quite like that combo as well. So if you've seen something that you like this morning, let me know. I can pop it up. Or if you want to make, so the pouches. So the pouch instructions, and I'll pop a couple of zips in. We'll make you that size, and then got all my quilting clips in. Pencil case size. You can make that one bigger if you want. You do have extra fabric. I just thought, bah, then you've got some left over for your scrap in your kit. So if you want, I can put those kits together, and let me know if you want the instructions just sold separately, and then I'll put a kit together so that you get sort of a lining fabric, so a plain lining fabric, a pattern fabric, and a couple of zips. And I'll put those on the website, and then I'll put the pattern separately, because I know a lot of you have already bought the double duck pouch, which was the blue one, and I might still have a couple of these left. So I'll put, because there's no point buying the instructions again, I'll put up some kits for you in different colourways, and then if there's fabric left over, then I'll put it up by the ½ metre or something. You let me know if you'd rather have it by the ½ metre, in bundles, fat quarters, and I'll have a read through your messages and get an idea of what you're after. Tomorrow is Tuesday the 10th. Hurrah! Where's this month going? Where's this year going? How are we March already? Where did that happen? So which means that it is Jane Alcock's Block of the Month. Hooray! But this time she's also going to bring you this. Now this is in beautiful Moda fabrics, and we're going to be bringing you that hopefully as a bundle. I've got to sort that out this afternoon. Oh, there's a thread on it. So many jobs to do. And yeah, basically just keep checking back onto the website. A note for a few of you, I think I've caught all of them, but some of you last week bought just Jasper Rabbit, and bought just the fabric, and it was, we It's one of those things. The feedback that we used to get at Sewing Quarter was that you wanted the pattern available individually. So we did the pattern available individually, and then we should have put the pattern in with the fabric as well. But then some of you bought the two different colorways, so then that wouldn't have worked, paying extra to have the pattern in there. So we've done the pattern separately. So and then there was a discount if you bought the both together, the fabric kit and the instructions. So just to know, if you didn't, I think I caught anyone going through that hadn't realised, and I refunded you your postage and your and the difference that you would have done if you bought them both together. But if I've missed anybody, just message me. And always info@natashamakes.com. Some of you have tried to put things up on Facebook. I miss them. I can't guarantee them, and then you get cross because you think I'm ignoring you, and I'm not. I don't always, because of how I've got different Facebook pages, so I don't always see them, and I would hate for you to think you were being ignored. Another note is that SJ, who does our customer service based stuff, she's in India, so she's working, this is getting married, very exciting, so she's working odd hours there. So if you don't get an answer during UK working hours, it's because she's working in a different time frame, but she's back next week, so normal service will resume. Val says, I don't want these fabrics. I need them for my stash. I'm thinking that you want these. I'm thinking, maybe. Yeah, Karen, she says, oh, a pretty selvage. I've seen entire projects made just out of selvages, and they look incredible. Absolutely incredible. Elizabeth says, can we meet your show dog? Oh, my goodness. It would be absolute carnage. I'm just looking at Josh, who's gone, you want me to go and get her? Should put her paws straight up on here and just wreck everything. I'm going to work that out for another week, Elizabeth. Or I might do a little Facebook Live and you can meet her. She's cross today because she's not been allowed to go to doggy daycare with Margot because she's just coming into season. I mean, timing, right? Last week, if that had happened, no crufts. This week, whew. So yeah, that's your timing. And yeah, thank you ever so much for watching. Do message me. Let me know how you want this these sort of composed. Get the mess. Like I said, this is your channel. Thank you as ever for your support. And like I always say, your support can be shown obviously through visiting the website and having a rummage and having a buy, but also just in sharing this so that word gets out that we're here, which is always useful. And also thank you for everyone that tuned in to my shows on Hochanda as well on Friday. Yeah, thank you. Have a lovely rest of the day. Do join us tomorrow for Block of the Month with lovely Jane Alcock, and have a fabulous rest of the day. Take care. Bye bye.